everybody, welcome back to the cabin, welcome back to the forest garden. This peeling of logs at this time of year is not an easy task. We've got a lot to do as well. Those two logs I was working on yesterday are the foundation logs for the chicken coop and the chicken run. And then these cedar logs are my logs that I'm building the actual chicken coop cabin. It's going to be a log chicken coop that I'm building for them. So I'm in a bit of a hurry to get this one done, or get it done as soon as possible, because I have some chickens available to me for my sister that I could really use. They're laying hens ready to go, and there's a real shortage of chickens, especially ready to lay hens in Ontario, and probably in a lot of areas. I'm hearing even feed and material for building coops and all that kind of stuff is becoming harder to get, which is good to hear on one hand, because obviously that means people are taking this pandemic seriously and they're taking the move to more self-reliance seriously. And obviously, you know my backstory, you know that, I continue to always talk about my hardships in 2010 and beyond, and how that kind of forced me into this path to self-reliance. I'm never going to say I'm actually self-reliant. First of all, what does that even mean? How far can you go without being dependent on others? But also it is a path, and I have a long way to go. I'm certainly having a renewed respect over the last 3 years for the people that came before us and set up our civilizations and did all the hard work of clearing land and growing crops and raising families and hard to live in places like this. But I'm loving it, but I don't have the hardships, or I don't have the sense of necessity or urgency that they would have had back in the day, because there's a system set up for me to rely on when I fail. So if you've been watching a number of my videos either recently or over the years, you know by now that I like to just jump around from project to project. I have a hard time just focusing on one thing and getting it done. Not because I'm unable to, incapable of focusing, but because I, first of all, enjoy new things, enjoying working on new projects. But part of the life that I've set up, or I'm setting up, is allowing me to jump or reprioritize projects as they come up. So this time of year, this year in particular, wasn't a year I was planning on building a chicken coop or a half-acre garden. But here I am, because circumstances sort of dictated what I'm doing this year. And peeling these logs, like I started off saying, is not something that you would typically do at this time of year, because it's extremely difficult compared to, say, a month or two from now when the sap's running or the trees are growing and you have a slick layer between the old growth or the last year's wood and the inner bark. So if you remember last year, the end of April it was, and the 1st of May, I think, that the guys came up and we were working on that longhouse build. So we stripped the logs. Well, we had all the cedar trees. We stripped the bark off of those, and then that ash tree we cut down and stripped the bark off of that. It did work, but if you remember, then a month or two later, cutting down the bigger ash trees, we were able to strip that bark off like nothing. Just came off with your hands in just huge sheets. So huge difference. So ideally I wouldn't be peeling logs right now, but I have these projects that have become higher priority that I'm jumping on and postponing some of the other projects I was planning for the spring. And I'm going to end up regretting that come bug season, because I still haven't screened in that porch on the side of the cabin. So that's going to be an urgent problem a month from now, let's say. Now, I think I'll get to it before then, but only if I get this done. This is actually my priority even over that. So the point I guess I want to make is that I think being nimble is one of the keys to self-reliance, and maybe it's even a key to success, is to be able to snowing now, is to be able to jump on, it's to be able to be nimble and just go in a different direction if need be. You had to change directions. The wind switch starting to come from the south. Although it's swirling, the clouds are moving in all directions. It's real cold actually for this time of year. We should be about 10, 11, 12 degrees Celsius above zero and around freezing or just slightly under freezing at night. And all this week, after we had a warm spell earlier in the week, the rest of this week and all the next 7 or 8 days is actually calling for quite a bit cooler temperatures. Anyway, versatility and being able to be nimble and change directions and go with the flow, I think, is an important skill to have. But unfortunately, most people can't apply that skill because they're in a position that they don't have flexibility, don't have any freedom. And I think becoming debt-free is maybe the number and consideration for becoming or having the ability to be nimble and to be self-reliant. I think it's probably number one, because not having debt allows you to go in another direction and go pursue something that may not pay dividends immediately, but it's necessary for your long-term survival or self-reliance. So over the years, I started off when I got out of high school, and I didn't even finish high school. But when I got out, I kind of jumped around from job to job, did a couple months of cabinet making and furniture making and installing fireplaces and chimney sweeping. Not sure what else. A bunch of little jobs like that anyway. And that's typical of younger people, but just trying to figure out what I liked. But I went from that then into the sheet metal trade with my dad. Worked in that for 8 years, and then got into commercial roofing and owned my own commercial roofing company with a sheet metal division. And then got into solar energy, and all during that time I was, dabbling in other things as well, real estate development, stuff like that. And I think that gave me skills, or gave me the mindset to be able to dive into something new, kind of without fear, or as little fear as possible, so that I could, take risks and not be devastated when they didn't pan out. And a lot of them didn't, as you know. So this pandemic right now is not affecting me for that reason, that I was able to set my life up in such a way that I'm debt free. I'm in a place that I can access so many resources, all these trees and the land, in order to clear and to be able to plant my vegetables. I'm surrounded by huge amounts of public land that's barely utilized, in addition to my own private land that I'm able to hunt on, and all the rivers and lakes that are around here that I'm able to fish in and forage in the forests. So I'm in a place mentally and physically that I'm able to do that. So I'm aware, and I'm very grateful for the position I'm in. So I don't take that for granted, and I don't say, why are you not in that position? I just think that, just pursuing in your time, in your spare time, whenever you have time, pursuing or learning about new things and looking at different paths in your life that you can take, I think is, I believe it's a critical skill. And a time like this, where we're in a pandemic and a shutdown, essentially an economic shutdown right now, a lot of people are at home wondering what to do with their time. And the response to that's going to be different for everybody. It's not affecting me because I'm here. I just go outside and I do what I was already doing. But for many, it's maybe a time to pick up a new skill, to learn something new, or at least do the research and educate yourself on something you're interested in that you never thought was a good use of your time, or wasn't worth pursuing, or was too risky. I think a lot of people are finding out their jobs are not secure, they're not essential workers, for example, and that the drop of a hat, things can change overnight. This is what this was. This is not something most of us were prepared for, and it just got dropped on us so suddenly. The shutdown of the economy in particular. It's amazing that even can be done. If you think about, almost an entire globe just ceasing activity, economic activity almost. That's unheard of, and it's, I have to admit, it's disturbing. I do believe it's necessary, but it is disturbing, and it's likely to happen again. And to be caught once is unfortunate, but to be caught again and again, I think, is just not smart. I don't think we should just go back to our daily lives thinking this is not going to happen again and that we don't need to make changes in our lives. Anyway, I know a lot of you are fine. I hope everybody's fine. I hope you all make it through this period of turmoil and uncertainty. I hope you come out unscathed, and I hope your families are healthy, and that your futures are still bright despite this setback. But I do encourage everyone to do what you can to be more self-reliant, so you're not relying on the system, but also to help others when you can, as I'm doing with my family right now. And I'm hoping that I'm sharing some useful information to anybody watching who's in a position that I'm feeling a little bit hopeless, and I'm having people reach out to me saying that. And I'm hoping that you can see that there is an option. There is options in how to live your life, and that you can pursue not only what helps you survive, but actually what makes you happy and gives you meaning. Anyway, that's what I was thinking today, just that as I jump around from project to project looking like maybe I've lost my mind, that I think it's important. I think I'm doing the right thing by being nimble, having a diverse skill set, and just being able to change directions and go with the flow as necessary. I think is, for me, it's one of my most important skills, and one of the most important lessons I've learned over the years. I feel very blessed, I have to say. You listen to the sounds. The wind in the trees is the noisiest thing out right now. The birds are starting to come back. Some of the birds that migrate, I can hear some white-throated sparrows and a few other species that don't spend the winter here back in the forest. So that's nice to hear. And I don't care about a little bit of snow. It's almost done, and I'll be planting the first plants today by the looks of it. Almost got enough soil built up on that mound. So I'll get back to that now and keep talking to you guys with whatever thoughts that come to mind as they come to mind. So I really appreciate you following along. Look forward to seeing you at the cabin next time. Take care.